And we're back with more exciting adventures of The Incredible Hoax. I am Chris.
I am Mark.
That was like the least smooth thing ever.
What do I wish you would have had the second pair, just like on the movie Airplane.
Yeah, the Airplane.
Yeah.
So today we're going to do, we've done on our session, we've done Super Bowl, we've done football.
Yes.
Whatever thing. Now we're going to do the catch up on some stuff that we watched and want to talk about. That's the official name of the show. Stuff we've watched and want to talk about. So, what are some
movie streaming catch up show?
What are some stuff you want to talk about?
Well, first, we haven't had a chance to talk about the Mandalorian season 2.
Get it, do it, go.
Well, where to start? The show kind of started off with the monster of the week in the beginning of that season, but they finally got that over with, and then the second half of that season was just great, and the finale was just awesome, pitch perfect in terms of bringing back
spoilers. I guess everybody's watched it by now.
A popular character.
Spoiler 1, 2, 3. Spoiler go.
Spoilers,
all right, go ahead.
Yes.
Who'd they bring back?
They brought back Luke Skywalker in his prime.
They should have watched it by now anyway. But if you haven't watched
Mandalorian,
Mandalorian, you're probably not a fan anyway. So
I'm glad you. I hadn't even thought spoilers, so I'm glad you said.
Well, I mean, it's been out for several months.
My mind was
should have
somewhere
watched
else.
it by now, but just in case.
But yeah, the finale was terrific. So absolutely excited to see where they could go. They really kind of cleaned the slate. There's a lot of places they can go now.
Yeah,
in season 3. So
that's probably my one criticism.
It's cool.
It's probably my one criticism. And let's focus on good first.
Okay.
So other than just seeing Luke and having your Luke-gasm at the end.
Yeah, definitely
you got your major, I know you're a giant Luke Skywalker fan, so it pretty much redeemed everything that the
Last Jedi was not.
The Disney trilogy. The Disney trilogy probably screwed up all that.
It showed proper respect to a character that absolutely deserves respect. Yes.
So other than your Luke-gasm, what do you think?
Well, the journey of the main character continues to be interesting. Probably smart to keep the whole story, again, we're talking spoilers, of the child. Keep it to just the whole lone wolf and cub thing. Keep that to a 2-year arc and let that go. And then they give themselves other places they can go in the future. So once again, I think that with the it's just a quality production. The direction's there, the writing's there, the acting's there. Did I say the action's there? There was one episode where Carl Weathers directed, and it was like one of the better. It was like the episode that got him off that monster of the week and kind of got the second season back on course.
That's the one where they
felt very Star Wars.
That's the one where the comedian guy had to dress up as an Imperial, right? No, that's the wrong one. It's the one where they had
the hidden base.
Yeah.
And they have to infiltrate
and
that
the little troop carrier thing that had a gun on it, and they driving through the base. Yeah.
It was, but that was just a whole great actioner. That whole episode was so. Yeah, really terrific. I hope they bring back Timothy Oliphant because he was in the season 2 premiere, and he's just such a wonderful actor. I would love to see him come back.
I'm glad he's in the Star Wars universe. It makes me happy.
Yeah. That gave me put a smile on my face. And of course. Rosario Dawson playing.
I can never say her name. Don't give me that.
Oh gosh! Any other time I could say it.
Akusha or something. Can't ever.
Say it. Anyway, Anakin's Padawan. Yeah. Now all grown up and such a wonderful character. That character ended up being through the Clone Wars, and now to see the live action version. and feels very much like that character.
How do you say it? Asuka? Asuka.
Yeah, Ahsoka Tano. I'm sorry, folks. Ahsoka Tano. Any other time I could have told you that right off the bat. Ahsoka Tano is well, she's a really
how you say it?
Ahsoka.
What you just said? That's how you say it?
Ahsoka, yes.
Okay, I believe you. It just doesn't sound right. I believe you. Ahsoka.
Anyway, that was
Ahsoka. Ahsoka. Tanu. I gotta look up phonetically. I'm looking this up phonetically. You can keep talking. I'm gonna look this up phonetically. Pronunciation. How to pronounce? Oh, here we go. 38 seconds.
A lot can happen with a simple share your ideas.
Your stupid commercial.
Tell your story.
This will all be cleaned up on the edit.
No, it won't.
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka
Tano. Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano. Okay.
What did I say, folks?
I don't know. It just sounded weird when you said it.
Oh.
It didn't mean you said it wrong. It just sounded weird to me. I was like, that really Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka Tano. I can say it real fast. Sounds like one more. Ahsoka Tano.
Well, that was a really good episode too. You hear the her utter the name of the child for the first time, and anyway, that was just
his name was Ahsoka, not Tano.
Yeah, not Tano. So I was very happy with season 2.
I can't tell you. See, I'm not really good. I'm a real big Star Wars fan, but I can't name all the names. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's only some because I don't bother because they're kind of weird. And I like them so much, but like, there's only some. I don't bother trying to memorize all of them.
Well, yeah,
because they're complicated and they're hard to read, and then there's so many of them. I just remember the ones I really like. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not like they're asking to like learn the name like Jane, John.
Yeah,
it's very simple.
So as big a Star Wars fan as I am, like I don't bother memorizing some of the names. It's like I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy that's going to say, yeah, that's Ahsoka Tano, and she's a such and such alien that's born on such and such planet. I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
I'm not that level of fan. I like a lot, but I ain't that level. That's a whole nother level that I'm not. And so anyway, and I'll be honest, I've never finished any of the cartoons. Like for some reason, I don't get into them. I think they're well made, but I've tried and I can't. I don't know. I think it's because they're cartoons. Like I can't get into them. It's like they waste a lot of time because they're cartoons, and they do some silliness because they're cartoons. They're made for kids.
Yeah,
and there's like silly things. And it's like, I just want them to like do stuff, do things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, the Clone Wars, that series is quite special. I'm not talking about the Clone Wars, that movie, but the actual series is definitely worth people's time if they haven't watched it. The other series, anime series, are kind of hit and miss, to be honest with you.
Sorry, I got to text. So Mandalorian, I really liked it. Obviously, it was good. You know, the finale was a tearjerker. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, everybody's praised it, and I'm just one more praising it. So, I mean, of course, I liked it. Boba Fett returning was amazingly great, and I love that they didn't screw up Boba Fett. That they hit every note right with Boba Fett. They brought back the guy who's supposed to play it. They didn't do something stupid and cast somebody else.
Right.
It had to be him, and they brought him back.
Yeah.
That's the way it had to be. So that made me supremely happy that they brought back Morrison. I can't think of his first name.
Tamora
Morrison.
Morrison, yeah.
So that may be.
They didn't go, hey, let's bring in Danny Trejo.
Yeah, they didn't do something stupid. And
he'll be a good Boba Fett.
They brought in the guy that's supposed to play Boba Fett. They brought him in to play it. That was great. So anyway, that was all good. So I'm going to just focus on the main criticism I have. I don't know what else to say. It's one of those things that's like, it's just been so praised. I don't know what I can really add to it by now.
Okay. All right.
The criticism is I feel like they wrote themselves into a hole because the series is The Mandalorian and the Child. Again, I'm not going to bother remembering the real. I know they get real names now, but I don't know what they are. I didn't commit that to memory. Again, it's the name thing with Star. So, Mandalorian and the Child. That's the show. Mandalorian and the Child, and then sub characters Gina Carano and Carl Weathers, and then maybe Bill Burr. That's the comedian, and maybe Boba Fett and the other assassin chick, and etc. That's the subset of characters that could kind of go, but the show is Mandalorian and the Child. So if season 3 is like some left field adventure that doesn't involve the child, I don't think people are going to like it. It's just not going to be the same show. So it'll just, I don't know. If that's the end of the Mandalorian, I'm fine with it. They don't have to make a season 3, but if they do, I don't know how you don't have him and the child doing misadventures. Well, because that's the show.
It's been greenlit. It will happen.
Well, okay. I mean, then they got to figure out. I mean, they got to overcome. To me, they wrote themselves into a hole. Either something happens, and he's back with the child again. The child runs away. Somebody tries to kidnap the child. Something happens. Then that's fine. And then he has to go back and get him, or they have to go on the run, or he runs away from Jedi school. Something. But if it's just the Mandalorian on a new set of adventures that the child's nowhere around, I don't know how that's going to be received. That's kind of the whole point.
Well, it may be a bit of an advantage. Dave Filoni is one of the co-showrunners of The Mandalorian. And of course, he was the showrunner over the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Yeah. If you've seen those shows, particularly Star Wars Rebels, in terms of The Mandalorian, I mean, they did in their season 3, they devoted a whole thing to the Mandalorian planet and the politics and that whole world and all that. Sure. So where it ends, The Mandalorian season 2 ends, if you've seen Star Wars Rebels, you kind of have an idea of where they can go if they want to kind of have it all about him going to his home world, because that was the deal he made with her.
Yeah, now he's the king of the Mandalorian. Or
so he's like the king of Mandalore, and him having to kind of help fix that planet. That can be interesting if you do it right.
Right.
They may not stay with that plot. That might be just a one episode thing, but
I doubt it. Yeah, it'd probably be a running thing.
But I would think that would be the season 3 arc is dealing with that.
I mean, great. If it is great, I hope it's good. But that's not going to be what people want. I mean, I know. I mean, you're a diehard extreme Star Wars fan. I'm sure that's fine. Joe Blow, John Q. Public, they're like, well, where the hell's the child? What the hell's this? You know what I mean? So there comes a point where, do you, I don't know, it's hard for me to say this because it sounds contradictory to the movies, but the movies just gave the finger to diehard Star Wars fans. Well, the series can't go the complete other way and just give the finger to regular casual viewers. And they can't just totally if you didn't watch season 4, episode 3 of the Clone Wars cartoon, F you, buddy, because, it's not our job to make sure you watch them all. We're just going with it. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's it feels like I have a balance. If they go only with that story, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just not sure that's what people want to see. But we'll see. I mean, who knows? They haven't made the damn thing yet.
Well, it's going to be a 2-year break because what they said is 2021, the spinoff is going to be the Boba Fett story.
Yeah.
Then in 2022, it'll be season 3 of The Mandalorian. So there may be some strategy there too to kind of let that thing kind of have 2 years to kind of die down, so that people they're just so anxious for it to come back. Maybe they're more accepting of a story that is seen as a departure from the lone wolf and cub formula.
I wish you the best. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to succeed. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying that's my fear. Not really a complaint, but that's my fear is they put themselves into a corner. And like I said, there's nothing really I contribute on the good side. I mean, it's been praised to death, and rightly so. So my contribution to the conversation is, how are we going to deal with this?
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. I don't know what else we can say for the Mandalorian. What's the big movie that Tenet? You had thoughts on Tenet to share?
Big Christopher Nolan fan here.
Came out in August. It was the first big giant release of COVID. Did not do obviously what it should have done in normal circumstances. I guess judging by COVID standards, it did okay. It probably didn't make its money back once all said and done.
No. It's
I didn't see it in IMAX. I saw it in IMAX. I think you waited till home.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it till partly a decision on my part not to go to the theater. So anyway, I did see it over the Christmas holidays on streaming, and I gave it thumbs down. Actually,
wow,
the movie.
Is this the first Christopher Nolan movie you ever thumbs down? And he made that Al Pacino Snow movie too, so don't forget.
Yeah, Insomnia. I like that. I actually watched that like a year ago, and first time in a long time.
It's probably the first one you've thumbs down. You're a big Christopher Nolan geek.
Yeah, I mean Interstellar. I was waffling on, and eventually grew to like it. So that one's even a thumbs up. So yeah, I guess it's the only one I'd have to say that's a thumbs down right now that I can think of.
Okay.
To me, it's like an exercise that you enjoy. It's like on that level, you're like, wow, what a visual exercise I just went through. But as a story, it did not work for me at all. I mean, some of the rules he comes up with is not consistent. It doesn't make any sense, really, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So from a story standpoint, I couldn't go there. I was like, no. This doesn't work. But I admire his filmmaking and the visual exercise that it is. But that's about the best praise I could give it. But yeah, I was disappointed in the movie. I didn't think. I thought Robert Pattinson, is that his name?
Yeah.
I kind of like what he did, and it was interesting. I would like to see more of him. I thought he was doing something interesting in it. I didn't think the main character was particularly charismatic or interesting. Sadly,
Denzel's son. I can't think of his name.
Isn't it John David Washington or something like that?
I just know it's Denzel's son. I can't think of his. I gotta look that up too. Keep talking.
He's a young actor, and I'm sure he's going to have a great career. I just didn't find him in that role. It was one of those roles that you need, like a Tom Cruise. That kind of role,
John David.
You need someone to have an intangible to make you care, because the script doesn't provide that. So a movie like that, then you have to have like a star come in. Well, he was like a Matt Damon or a Tom Cruise, so that you care. Well, even Denzel Washington himself has that. So I would have been on board with that too. But anyway, Will Smith, for example.
Well,
I could have been on board with that.
John David Washington was in BlacKkKlansman. He was the main guy in it, and he was very charismatic in that movie. That was
okay.
He was, I think, what you're looking for in that movie. For some reason, it didn't happen as much in Tenet, and I agree with you. I don't think it was him.
It was like subdued.
I don't think it was him. Something. I don't fault him at all, because BlacKkKlansman. I mean,
okay,
he was hella good in that. He was completely charismatic in that one. So I think it definitely was probably the script and what he was working with.
Yeah,
I mean, and like his name. Well, so like the whole. So here's my problem I had with it. It starts with the thing, like the spoilers, I guess. It starts with this heist thing, and he's there, and then he's something happens, and the guy from Inherent Vice shows up and says, "You're a special agent now. If there's a word, go to this place." He hides in a thing. He ends up at this other thing with his lady scientist, and she says, "You can go backwards now because of a thing." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And that's it. And then we're off. And that was it. That was the setup. And it was basically no different than Austin Powers when they said about time travel. And he asked all the questions like, "We just recommend you just sit back and enjoy it."
Yes.
That's basically what they did. They're like, just go with it. Is what they did. I saw the movie in IMAX. I couldn't tell you what the hell that's about. I had no clue. Somebody left something that they found that does this. It's radioactive or something. It does stuff. And like the ending where they're like fighting, I guess, are they on Mars? I don't even know where they are. They're having this big battle. Like, I don't even know where they are. Are they like where are they? Chernobyl? Like, I don't know where they were even. Like they're a reactor or something. I don't know what that was. It's one of those movies. Like I watched it, I paid attention, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
and I swear to God, I watched it by myself. Right. Like it was, obviously they weren't going to go to the movies at the time. It was like August. The rest of the family went to go to the movies, and then I was like, I'm going to go. I went by myself, and I sat there, and I never left to go to the bathroom or anything. And I had my drink and my stacks, and I watched it. I watched every frame.
Sure.
And it was over. I'm like, I can't explain some of those things. I don't know. If you ask me what happened, I'd be like, I'm not really sure. So like that was my problem, was like The Matrix. The Matrix, it felt like Tenet wanted to be like the next Matrix or something. But the problem was The Matrix was really clear. Like even a kid could tell you the plot of The Matrix. It was very clear.
Right.
You knew who the bad guys were. You knew like the stuff. Like I have no clue the plot stuff of Tenet. I just know that somebody left something that does something. Mm-hmm. And he had part of the something that Kenneth Branagh needed the something. But the wife didn't want him to have the something, so she shot him. But she was not shot, but he was shot. And then she jumped off a boat, or she didn't jump off a boat. You know what I mean? And like Denzel's son is watching, so he thinks she's dead, but no, she didn't die. Like, see? And then what's his name? Then Twilight, he's like, he is fighting on Mars at the end too, but he died, but he didn't die. Mm-hmm. And see what I'm saying? It's like, I kind of liked it because if I just did the Austin Powers and watched it, I liked it. I just took it like for the action scenes and I just sat there like and watched the action. I thought it was okay, but from a plot point of view, I had no fucking clue what the hell just happened.
Well, so much of the script, really, it's a puzzle that he's put together.
Yeah,
and it's a visual puzzle, and I think as a director, so much is given to like the trying to pull off the visual, the puzzle stuff. And there's so much technical stuff that's going on there that performances kind of, it's very easy then for a movie where your actors are they're sitting around for hours for setups. You can just imagine what the sets were like, just like, and you're trying to stay up for, when the camera rolls, and it's so hard. You could just tell this was a movie where there had to have been just these people just sitting around forever for all these setups.
I felt like it was a rewrite. It was like a rewrite away from goodness, from being good or even great, maybe.
Yeah.
But like they needed another rewrite. It's like they should have figured out a way to translate what the hell it was clearer. And I know Christopher Nolan's the smartest man that's ever lived. We all bow to Christopher Nolan. Yes, you're a genius. No one on the planet smarter than you, Christopher Nolan. But could you do us a favor and grace us with a little dumbing down? You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. You're the smartest person that's ever lived. Yeah. Fine. I don't. It's like the Dark Knight was layered and complex, but completely understandable.
Sure.
Interstellar teetered on that.
Yeah. And it took me a bit to warm up to that one.
Dunkirk.
I got there though.
Dunkirk definitely played around with the timeline thing with Dunkirk. That played around with a lot, but he went over that line finally. I felt with Tenet. And Inception obviously played with the line as well.
Sure.
So I understand the complicated plot thing and being clever and really having to pay attention, but Tenet, I did pay attention, and I don't know what it was about.
Yeah. Well, there was a whole scene where there is some significant dialogue being between Branagh and I think the Pattinson character, and they're on that boat, that weird sailboat, whatever, and the engine's going, and you can't hear hardly what anything they're saying because it's so loud. And what they're saying was, some of that was pretty, important information. You're just like some people may not catch all this, but the idea of there being radiation in this area where there's a lot of chemical waste, and the side effect from all that they discovered was this kind of reversing of time. It was all found by accident. And so they recruited Branagh at an early age to be this,
Drop my phone, sorry.
Yes, he did. We're having trouble on this episode for some reason. Anyway,
it's getting tired. We're getting late. It's getting later.
But anyway, he was recruited and part of this kind of anarchy type, whatever, or hate government kind of thing. And anyway,
okay, that's enough of Tenet. Because I don't want to. So what's another thing you want to talk about before we call this episode good? We did Mandalorian and we did Tenet. I did watch the first season of Star Trek Discovery, which is not new, but I finally started watching that one.
I haven't watched any of that actually.
Yeah, I'm 1.5 seasons in.
Because the main actress, she's from Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and I just thought she has no charisma. I didn't care for her. Thought she was a dull actress on Walking Dead. So I just couldn't bring myself to watch that same actress on another show. But
it works. It works though. So she's a Vulcan.
She is.
She's a Vulcan or half Vulcan. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
She's like half Vulcan or something. Okay. She got pointy ears for whatever that's worth. So she's like half Vulcan or something or other. And yeah, she is half human, half Vulcan, right? I think. I don't know. She's Star Trek's like Tenet. It's like all this shit mumble jumbo together. But it's good. So but what I find interesting about it is, and it's worth watching. I can't tell you since you haven't watched it. And the whole season 1 depends on the unknown, so I can't tell you too much.
Okay.
But if you go ahead and watch it, I liked it. But season 1 is definitely like one big movie, right? And where I lost my train of thought. So but the thing I find interesting is she makes these decisions early on that end up not going well. But I think as the movies or the show's going, I actually agree with these decisions she makes.
Yeah.
And so after the decisions are made and they don't go well, so of course she's vilified. And I'm like, well, no, she was right. If y'all had done what she'd said and helped her when she did those, you would not be in this pickle right now.
Okay.
But for some reason, the show takes the point of view that she made this bad decision, and that's the reason it's all screwed. And my point of view is, no, the reason it's screwed is because you didn't help her. She made the right decision, and your other knuckleheads didn't help her. Y'all are the ones that screwed up and made it bad. And I find it interesting that the show never gives a wink and a wink and a nod to my point of view. So definitely the show took the position that she was wrong.
Okay.
But it's kind of like the movie HUD. Paul Newman's right. But the movie is not made that way.
No.
The movie is that the grandpa's right.
Right.
Well, I disagree. The HUD's right. He's right the whole movie. He's not the bad guy.
You're supposed to come away, well, that HUD was an asshole. That's what you're supposed to come away.
But he's not. In my opinion, he's not. The grandpa's the asshole. If you watch HUD, HUD's brother dies, so the grandpa automatically hates him and blames him for it. And his grandfather won't change with the times. He's cost them all this money and does all this stuff. And to death, he just treats HUD like an asshole. So, of course, HUD becomes an asshole because of the treatment he was given. So if HUD's asshole thinks it's just retaliation to the grandpa or his dad, which his dad, the main character's grandpa, being an asshole to him. He's just responding. Now, there's one scene where HUD is wrong, and that's with the girl. That scene's wrong. So that scene aside, I defend HUD. I don't defend that scene though.
Right.
Which you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So, so at the end of the movie, you're supposed to think, "Oh, Grandpa was right, and we've lost this golden age, and HUD's an asshole." Like, no. HUD's right. So it's kind of like that. So it's somewhat like that. She was right. Y'all assholes didn't help her. If you'd have helped her, she was right. So the whole season's about how wrong she was. And I'm like, no, that's not true. Anyway, there's my HUD / Star Trek Discovery analogy.
Well, I got HBO Max on December 25th.
Did you watch the simple things or the little things?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
Okay.
I heard it was good from a coworker.
Did you watch your Wonder Woman 84?
But I did watch Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, so
I
bad.
liked it.
Oh my God.
I didn't love it, but I thought it was all right. I didn't expect. I think it was one of those things where my expectations was like
so bad.
I didn't have any.
What did you like? What did you like about that?
I just thought it was just a regular 80s styled superhero movie. I mean, it wasn't great, but I mean, it was just. I got the story that they were doing.
Bad.
You could argue what's his face was in it more than Wonder Woman.
See, I thought that they should have the movie should have been about only the Mandalorian guy.
Yeah.
Like if the movie had been just about the Mandalorian guy, it probably would have been a good movie. And if Wonder Woman had just like her versus the girl, the bridesmaid girl,
yeah,
then it would have been like that would have been a good
Kristen
movie.
Wiig, yeah.
If it had been just Wonder Woman versus Kristen Wiig, that would have been a good movie. And if it had been just the rise and fall of Mandalorian guy, that would have been a good movie. But when you mushed them together, it made a not good movie. Plus the scene where there's magically a jet that's fully fueled at the Smithsonian that can fly intercontinentally back and forth without refueling and do so within the span of like 24 hours or less. That was a lot. That was a whole lot. I mean,
well, hey, if you're gonna donate a plane, you of course want to fuel the tank.
It's a fighter jet too. It's a fighter jet. They have aircraft carriers for a reason. It's because those jets don't have the range to just go back and forth across the fucking ocean.
What can I tell you? I just accepted it as escapist.
That was a lot
entertainment. I was in a good mood, I guess, for Christmas Day, and I was in the right frame of mind. I didn't think it was great, but anyway,
it was bad.
I had fun with it.
And then the scene where she gives the big speech with those stupid doe eyes of hers at the end. It's you remember the Imagine video that they did for social media during the pandemic, during lockdown, and she's looking at the camera like, "Imagine there's no heaven." Well, she gave that fucking speech at the end of Wonder Woman with the same kind of look as that dumbass Imagine video. And she's like, "We all must dream of a better world." And you're like, this is the dialogue they wrote for this movie? Really? This is what they wrote? So she put on that Wonder Woman costume, and this is what she gives. This is the speech. This is really we're adults. We made this. Adults made this. I'll forgive the jet thing. That's fantasy. Cool. I got you. Fine. But that speech.
It's funny because sometimes
it goes on forever. I'm not going to cut you off. That speech lasts at least 20 minutes. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know that there's been plenty of these movies that are like obviously flawed and uneven and kind of kooky, and then they have too many villains and stuff like that. And me and you have certainly roasted those kind of movies. And superficially, you look at, and this would seem to be one of those. I don't know. It worked enough for me, and I don't know what else to say about it. It was. There's kind of a buy-in, I suppose.
Of course.
And I guess I was there. So
It is a comic book movie, and I totally could forgive the jet thing in the context of a comic book movie, but it did so many other things stupid too. It's like it kept adding levels of dumb. You know what I mean? And then like that speech at the end, that was the final nail in the coffin for me watching it. I'm just like, I swear to God, I like for fun, go download it and like edit out that speech alone and just time it and put like a running counter and just see how long that speech lasts. It's 5 minutes. It's at least 5 to 10 minutes. Has to be. That speech she gets. It goes on and on. You think she's done and it comes back to her. She keeps going and it goes away from her and she keeps going. And it's like, and she's given this, she needs acting lessons so bad. It's like she can do action, but that speech.
Oh boy! Well,
you know the scene. There's the thing that John Milius, Sean Connery, supposedly with Hunt for October. You saw the Milius. I think it was in the Milius documentary. Is when Sean Connery got the script for Hunt for October. He said there wasn't enough big speeches, and so they gave the script for Hunt for October to John Milius, and he wrote up some speeches for Sean Connery to give. It feels like Wonder Woman said, whatever her name is, said. This is a really good script. I do a lot of cool action, but she needs a big speech somewhere at the end where she kind of gives everybody what for or whatever. Or she's inspiring or whatever. Yes. And they're like, well, okay. And then they wrote, and that's what they wrote. And then that's why it's in there, because she wanted to have a big moment. It's the way it's framed and everything. The look on her face, she looks like she thinks she's going to live in the fucking, Gettysburg Address. She's got that much sincerity, and it just sucks so bad.
And I feel bad. The Mandalorian actor whose name has totally escaped my mind.
Pablo?
Is it
Pablo or Pedro?
Is it Pedro Pascal? Is that it?
That sounds close. That's
probably butchered.
We're going to the judges.
We're going to
the judges.
Okay.
Pedro
Pascal?
Mandalorian. Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
Okay.
The judges concur.
His part, I think you could argue, he has way more to do. He's more on the screen more. His character,
scenery,
his character dominates, I think, that film. Which, when that happens, and you get to the end of the movie, it very much could have been. Well, wait a minute, this is called Wonder Woman, and we've had the villain basically. And 2/3 of it, we need her to do more. And they may have beefed it up with some of the dialogue. That's very, very possible. Anyway, I'm not going to overly defend it. I mean, it's all I can say is I enjoyed it. What else can I say?
What matters as long as you enjoyed it.
And I've kept HBO Max. So
HBO Max is my favorite streaming service, I should say. That's my favorite.
Well, I'm really enjoying it.
It's deep. It's like the deepest. It's just some really cool old stuff and foreign stuff. Yeah.
Well, director David Lean, there's several of his movies on there that I've not been ever had a chance to see. Yeah. So I'm anxious to have a little marathon there.
When people ask for streaming services recommend, I always recommend it first. Like, dude, HBO Max is like legit good. And I know that speaking of Tenet, what's his name? Nolan's really mad at HBO or Warner because they're going to go exclusive to the HBO Max.
Yeah.
And he was like, nobody has the service. It sucks. It's like, well, dude, it just started.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
There's a few like delay hiccups it's had, but everyone's at home because of COVID. That's part of it. And they have intentionally made the bandwidth like run slower or something like that. Or run. Didn't you remember that back in March? They did something with the bandwidth because so many people were at home.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Anyway, they may have stopped doing that, but that supposedly they did something with the bandwidth.
We pay for the whatever awesome internet, so never been an issue for me. But
yeah, my streaming's worked just fine. Didn't Prime or HBO Max doesn't matter. It's been doing fine. Okay.
Well, speaking of things that don't matter,
this concludes our weirdest segment ever.
Why was it so weird? But the show's still going. So we did Tenet. We did Tenet. We did The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
We did WW84, and we did something else that I forgot what it was.
Well, you did Star Trek Discovery.
Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not a bad little segment of things to recap.
Okay.
You got something else you want to talk about?
Um,
Did you bring enough gum for the class?
did you bring enough gum for everybody? Sorry, Blaine's house.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome you do that. I watched Doom Patrol on HBO Max. I watched that series. Never have I watched a show that like literally 50% of it I liked and the other 50% I hated. And I just kept watching thinking I would just stop. But I managed to get through both seasons. So
was it like storylines you didn't like?
Well, it has it's
like multiple storylines.
Yeah, it's an ensemble cast, and there are definitely like storylines that I'm really into, and there was others where like I don't care about that, and it was like that for 2 seasons. So that became very.
That's Game of Thrones for me.
That was very frustrating.
Have you watched Game of Thrones yet?
No,
You need to.
The only reason I don't want to watch it is because no one I've heard has liked the finale.
Yeah, watch it anyway. That's not enough to stop watching. It's got a lot of good stuff.
So the finale like was maybe disappointing, but not like a deal breaker. In your words.
I mean, if you're a complete nerd, I guess it might be a deal breaker. I mean, if you're like all ate up with the whole saga of Song of Fire and Ice, and you're a whatever his name is, JRRRRR. What is his name?
George R.R.
Yeah, George R.R.
Martin or whatever his name is.
If you're like some loyalist to him, maybe. But I mean, if you're just a regular viewer, you're going to go, well, the ending was a little disappointing, but it was a good series. It's a good series with the ending. I won't give you spoilers. I'll just say that it's also they just wrapped it up. It's just like it's over. It's like they had like. It's like they were writing, and then somebody said, hey, man, you got to finish it in one more show. And they're like, well, shit. Okay. It's what it's like. It's just like all of a sudden it just said, and done.
Which is why when they were wrapping it up so fast that someone actually had like, on the set.
Yeah.
The water bottle. The famous water bottle.
Right.
Like,
there was like a Starbucks cup and another one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we gotta get out of here.
And I think literally we're shooting that fast. Part of that reason was like they were trying to meet the demand for it, and they were shooting like crazy fast. They wrote it crazy fast. It's like it should have had like 2 more episodes than it did to really make it work. But they kind of good, and really quick. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I'd watch it. I'd definitely watch it. Got a lot of good action. Got a lot of good effects. Got a lot of good storylines. A lot of hot naked chicks. A lot of like everything in like that's cool. But what I was going to say is, personally, there's some storylines I didn't find very interesting. So I would kind of fast forward through those ones. Like so, when certain characters would come on, I just fast forward through those. It's just like Jesus Christ, I don't care what this person does. Like it's just whatever. Like the chick from 300, her stuff's all good. And like the guy with the long hair, the beard, Jon Snow, his stuff's all good. And the dwarf, all his stuff's great. But like some of the sisters and the brother, the little ones, I fast forward right through their shit. It's like dull as hell. Especially the one that, and I'm like in the minority because everybody else loves her, but this is one girl that's like ends up being like a shapeshifter or some shit. Her stuff's boring as hell. And I fast forward right through there. And I told some people that they were like, oh, she's the greatest. And I'm like, no, man, that's crap was dull. It was boring. So it's like, I guess they spent like a fortune on it because they had these certain scenes. So like the rest of it's like filler. So it's like if an episode costs like 10 million, they had to spend like 7 on this one thing and just make the other stuff happen real cheap. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. So you get these like storylines where it's just like people talking and walking. And then something amazing happens over here. And then they go back to the guy who's just walking and talking. Yeah. That's what it's like. But you need to watch it. Like there's so many cultural references now. It's kind of like one of those things.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm watching Person of Interest. So that's my show at the moment. So I'm almost finished with season 1. Loving it, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I get that done, we'll see.
I would recommend it. I'd recommend it, but like again, if you don't like the storyline, just fast forward them.
And I'm not above stopping too, because I started at the beginning of the year, the Americans, which was a really successful show a few years back, and it ran for like 6 seasons. First season, I loved it. I was like, oh, this is kind of like Breaking Bad. They're trying to keep the secret of them being spies and all that. Well, then the second season they started to lose me because they started like branching out to all these other different. They brought in all these new characters. It started going off these different weird directions, and I'm like, I don't care. Breaking Bad worked because it was focused.
Yeah,
it was a focused drama, and then it became the Americans got so soap opera that by the 3rd season, I just quit watching. That's a shame because I really liked the first season. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not above stopping if a show.
I've stopped several over the years. I've stopped several. I never got around to finishing.
Well, I mean, life's too short. If the show just starts going off the rails,
there's too much content out there.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a buffet. If you go to a buffet, you don't like something, stop eating and go back and get something else.
Yeah,
do like.
Well, it went from being kind of Breaking Bad, kind of good, to like One Life to Live or something. I'm like, yeah, done.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would watch Game of Thrones. I would recommend it. I recommend it. I mean, it's
on the to-do list.
You always have nerds that overhype stuff, and of course they overhype that. So it probably got overhyped to some degree because people get carried away and they get caught up into it and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's good.
Okay.
But nerds run everything. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Geeks are cool. Nerds are bad.
I know that things get overanalyzed, and especially if you have something where there's expectation, and if it doesn't go a certain way.
Right.
So I'm hearing all this just like secondhand. So it may be.
The white-haired chick, the chick that her storylines are all good. Like, in fact, if you just made the series just the dwarf, Jon Snow, the Dragon Queen, and then somebody else I'm missing. I'm just drawing a blank on who the other one would be. But yeah, those are the 3 main storylines that like are good and that matter. Like the rest of their stuff or whatever, the rest is just kind of take her. Oh, the 300 chick. The 300 chick,
yeah.
Jon Snow, the dwarf, and the Dragon Queen, the white-haired chick. If it was just those 4 storylines, perfect. But this the 4 others or 3 others, no good.
Well, like I say, I'll keep that in mind for the future binge watching.
All right.
This is our most awkward segment ever.
Isn't it? So speaking of future binge watching and things that y'all watch nonstop, I do.